pencil in, I guess, right?
Well,
or that was the foxhole one.
That was the foxhole one.
All right, hello out there, everybody. I'm Tom Medlin, W5KUB, and you're watching Amateur Radio Roundtable tonight. And just want to say I'm glad you're with us tonight. And if you're listening out there on shortwave on WBCQ on 7490, please send us an email to Tom at W5KUB.com and let us know where you are in the world and give us a signal report. We'd love to hear from you. Of course, you're hearing this on Thursday, so our show's audio is played back on shortwave on Thursday afternoon, 5 to 7 p.m. on 7490. If you want to, you can join our show live on Tuesday nights. Just go to YouTube and go to W5KUB. And I need everybody to do me a favor right now, just really quick. Hit the subscribe button. That is what ranks our channel, and it helps us to put the little thumbnail out on other people's sites so people can see us and come over and join the show. So everybody hit the subscribe button right now. If you don't, I've got a little meter here that tells me if you don't do it, and you're going to be in trouble. Do that, and hit the like button if you don't mind. That helps bring our ratings up there. So we'd love for you to do that. We're going to give away an antenna tonight, an HF antenna tonight, to somebody out there. So let's see, I had something else. Oh, today is February the 9th. Boy, the month is moving on and the month is short. Hey, by the way, I've got a birthday this week. Don't send presents, just send money. That's all money would be the easiest way anyway, to send money. Going to have a good show for you tonight. Let's see. We're going to be talking with a couple people here about the high school roundup. I wasn't real familiar with it, but hey, I actually got on the radio and I worked this particular ham club up in Kentucky, the Dixie Heights High School Amateur Radio Club. So we'll get to them in just a minute. Let us jump over to, let's see who's up. Looks like Glen is up. Hey Glen, how you doing tonight, man?
Doing good, trying to stay warm. I just saw in the forecast that your son Chris posted up there. It looks like we're going to be getting some ice on Friday.
Yeah. Well, I saw the note, and it says 1 inch of ice, and we're right in the middle of the bullseye, man. So I don't know what's going to happen here. It may come a little earlier than that too.
Yeah, I mean it's. I've got a friend over in Arkansas that's out in the sticks up there near Marion, and they're saying that it's already icing up and stuff.
Oh, I used to live over in Marion there. It's not too far. All right. Well, very good. All right. Let's jump over to Alan. Let's see. I'm sorry. I had some on mine. I forgot again. It popped up. Hey, maybe tomorrow that COVID shot will get my mind working again. Hey, Alan, are you there, Alan?
You gotta do what I do. When you think of something, write it down.
Yeah, that's
short-term memory is going. I don't know.
That's a good idea, man. I got to start writing it down.
Yeah, Glen's got his paper right there. I got my pen right here. I'm ready to go. So, but yeah, I don't have one of my good shirts on today. I literally came up from my office right up here, so I didn't get a chance to put one of my good shirts on.
Well, you're looking pretty good there. I think you're dressed okay for the show tonight.
Yeah,
you might have combed your hair a little bit more. I mean.
Yeah, no, a little bit of a mess. I know what's left of it.
Yeah.
But so we're staying good. Got a pile of snow outside. We had a little over 20 inches of snow with the nor'easter the end of last week and in the beginning of the week. and then had another couple inches during the week, another 6 or 7 or so. And we're looking for another couple inches on Friday, and then maybe another nor'easter on over the weekend. So who knows what we're going to wind up with here. So between that, it's getting me backed up in work. So I've been pretty busy.
You guys are so lucky. You get all the snow up here. We don't get any.
You could have it.
Yeah. Well, all right. Hey, I know what I was going to say. Hey, just we got a guy from the UK just tuned in, and let's see. We'll say hello to Paul there in the UK. Hey, if you're new to the show, if it's the first time you're to the show here, if you will, let us know in the chat room. Tell us this is your first time here. Maybe you heard about it through the net tonight. Maybe you got an email. Maybe you saw a posting. Would like to say hello to you. Let us know if you're new to the show here tonight. So, hey, tonight we're not going to do any specific segment, are we, Alan? We're just going to kind of open it up, maybe open the phones up.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. I think I've done a bunch of tech tips, and it's been just me talking. So I thought it might be nice to open it up to some questions. So for those of you guys that are listening, if you have any questions for tech tips, put them in the chat. We're going to open up the phone lines later. We can talk live, whatever's going to work out. But I'll try to keep an eye on the chat. But if you put the questions in now and you don't get to me for half an hour, it might be too far to scroll back.
Yeah, we'll have to get somebody to watch it for sure.
Yeah, so just queue them up in your mind, and when the segment comes up, just start putting them in then, and we'll deal with them as they come up. But I thought that would be fun.
Okay. All right. Well, so you guys help me too, because I asked if there's any new people here to put in the chat room, and I get busy watching the show, and I don't watch the chat room. So you guys are gonna have to help me too. All right. Bill Brown. Hey, Bill. How you doing, Bill?
Doing fine. And
all right.
That's one of the reasons I moved to the South, was to avoid the kind of weather that Alan is experiencing. The people north of here, I'm in Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama. Unfortunately, I didn't move far enough south, because we actually do get snow and we do get ice here. So that was the problem. So, but I wanted to mention that I've been working with the local University Alabama, Huntsville, and they have a group here of students called the Space Hardware Club, and they do all manner of really cool things with rockets, and some really big rockets, and some high altitude balloons. And so I helped them out, and recently they did a project, and they sent up one of my sky trackers on 20 meter Whisper, and today it just completed its first lap around the world, actually arriving back into the southeast after just 11 days.
Well, I saw that, and it looks like it's going to keep going. It was in some fast wind too. It's already cleared the U.S.
Oh yeah, it's been averaging 150 miles an hour or so.
Yeah. Well, last time we jumped up to 150 miles an hour, we disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. We're going to keep at it. We're going to keep going at it, though. All right. We'll talk more about the balloons a little later. Bill, will give us some more updates and talk a little about what went right, what went wrong with ours, and what we're going to do next, and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, well, look, I tell you what, let's just jump over here to Sherri real quick. Sherri is a teacher at the high school there. Sherri, how you doing?
Thank you very much.
All right, we had just a little problem there, but we're going to make it through this. Let's see. Okay. So you teach chemistry and science, I think, there at the school where we just had the high school roundup. Is that right?
Yes. Chemistry, forensics, and environmental science.
Oh, okay. What is environmental science? What's that about?
Environment is the short, easy one. It's got climate change as one of the topics that we cover. I'm not the in this one, so one of the colleagues there is doing a great team teaching with me and sharing some of her expertise in environmental. So chemistry is my first science topic that I love to teach. So environmental was new for this year.
Okay, well, cool. We need to have you on a show one night and just talk about environmental in environmental science. That'd be cool. Let's see. Let's jump over and pick up Gary Johnston, KI4LA. Gary, are you there?
I think I am.
There he is. Look at there.
And here's what it looks like outside right now.
Hold it down just a little. Hold it down just a little lower. Little. There you go. Right there. Oh man.
There we go.
Wow.
We got about 10 inches of snow, and that was not too much to deter the kids from making 98 contacts today in about 2.5 hours.
Okay. So.
Wait a minute. He's got a fork call with snow. There's something wrong with this.
Yeah,
That's right. Something's really wrong.
something's wrong there. Well. Yeah, hey, I enjoyed. I saw Greg posted it on YouTube on our Facebook group. So I said, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to work these guys, and I did. Let me get. I got the video here. I'm going to play the video. It's about 10 seconds, 15 seconds. This is my contact with your station there. Now, you guys on Zoom, you're not going to hear the audio, but everybody else is going to hear it. So just stand by a second. 5-9 into West Tennessee, near Memphis, Tennessee, and we got this video, and we're going to put it on a show tomorrow night. Over.
Roger, Roger. Well, that's our job well done. Yeah, K-Pop, well, thank you very much for the information, W5KUV, and thanks for the contact, K14DH. See you later.
All right, 7-3. All right, so that was our contact with your station, KY4DH there. So how do we want to do this? You sent me a few pictures. We haven't rehearsed what we're going to do here, so I don't know, Gary, if you want to lead in with this and pull Sherri in at the appropriate time, or how's this going to work here?
Well, let's start some pictures. Maybe we can annotate it for you.
Okay, so let's just start it with this picture right here.
Oh, that's us at a recruiting event. I'm on the right, Gary, KI4LA, and Sherri, who is a KJ4MOB. We went to a high school introductory day event and talked to quite a few students about ham radio.
That was the day we were letting the incoming 8th grade students get a look at what different clubs and activities the high school offered. And we were allowed to set up and have KY4DH, the high school radio club, give a little bit of a poster board and discussion trying to encourage 8th graders to join when they became freshmen.
Well, it's great that you're able to offer this to students, this club. I mean, when I was in high school, we didn't have a ham radio club. I had my license at 16, but we didn't have a ham club. And I was in the largest graduating class in history at my school. We had 52 people. How large are your classes, Sherri?
Most graduating, I believe, are approximately 300 to 350. Mm-hmm. So the highest student body population we've had, I think, is around 1,500 students in the high school.
Yeah.
With the COVID right now, it's a little harder to count how many we really have.
Yeah.
The administrators know that number. I just don't.
Well, that's a good number of students and to have a club, and obviously you've got several that have joined that club. How's the interest? Are people becoming interested in ham radio?
Absolutely. And
yeah, go ahead, Sherri.
I was like Gary thought.
Okay.
He had something he was going to share.
Okay. So that's good. Hey, let's just jump to the next picture here. Here's one of your students. Here's some of your students operating here. And looks like what's the age group that you allow into your ham club?
We high school kids. So my daughter is a seventh grader, and she was on the school roundup contest in October and loved it. She made 36 contacts her first day ever on the radio, and so she did logging for us today, and she's looking forward to getting her chance on the radio, hopefully later this week, as long as we don't have school again. So the student in the front who was a freshman, down low, so student see picture.
Mhm.
The student in the farthest back, he's graduated now, and he has his general license.
That's good. Here's another shot right here. I guess this is the action. I'm actually making a contact.
Yes. Sherri, was that previous picture the one when we were listening to the space station overhead?
It was.
Oh, okay. Well, that's another exciting part of ham radio there. Okay. And here, I mean, I don't see any students up here on the top, but I guess you allow them up on the roof, don't you?
Well, we have a group called, well, the Gang of Five, and it's a group from a Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club called the Gang of Five because there were 5 of us on the roof that day.
Okay.
It was a very cold day putting up antennas. But Tom NB4H, Greg WA4SRF, Jack AB4WS, Sherri, of course, HA4MOB, Joe WA4BAG that you see on the far left of the picture. And there are actually far more than 5. It's one of the reasons that Sherri's club works well is because of Greg W0QI and the participation of the members of the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club. It's a hand-in-glove kind of relationship, and they supply Elmers and help and manpower and encouragement to kids. That's very important.
Well, that's great. I had another picture. I don't see it here. I apologize. I think I had a picture of maybe 7 or 8 of you guys in here. We'll put that up on our Facebook group when I do find it here. So, I was not familiar with Roundup. Is this is something that's been going on for years and years, or is this new?
Well, the Roundup itself, I'm not exactly sure how long it's been going on. It's sponsored by ARRL and the Long Island Amateur Radio Club. We participated 3 or 4 years in it at this point. And this year was special for us because in October 2020, the Dixie Heights High School group, KY4DH, managed to come up with 53,000 points, which put us 3rd place nationwide. And we were so proud of the kids for doing that. We're 1st place in our division, the Great Lakes division, but 3rd place nationwide in the high school division, which is really a very special
Oh man,
thing.
that's a great ranking there for you guys. How do you think you did this year?
Well, we're only halfway through, and if you remember that picture that I showed you before, the ice and snow outside, that's what the kids showed up today. People showed up, and remarkably, once the streets were plowed, they were on board. They worked 98 stations today in about 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Wow. Are most of the students back in school there now, or is it a limited number that's coming in?
They are back in school, but that's not uniformly true across Northern Kentucky. Some districts are up and running, like Kenton County schools, which Sherri is part of, Dixie Heights High School, but Boone County, just adjacent to us, they're still closed down.
Okay. Now, is this a certificate? Let's see, this is, I guess, this is from the ARRL. That the station was, I guess, last quarter.
Yeah,
That was for the October.
Go ahead, Sherri.
That was for the October 2020 school roundup contest. So the
Okay.
ARRL roundup was
Yeah.
here. So in February. That's
Yeah. Sherri, your audio is kind of chopping up. We're having a little difficulty understanding.
operating requirements that we're only allowed to do 6 hours per hour period. With that,
Okay.
I
So-
apologize for any technical
No,
on
that's
my end.
it's
Has
just
that
it's just
gotten
an
any
internet.
better?
I think it's the internet latency thing. So you had the last one in October, and you're having another one now. How many times per year do you have the high school roundup?
There are 2 of them per year.
Okay.
The one in October and the one that's going on right now. You mentioned, how did we do this year? Well, we're right in the middle. Tomorrow is Hump Day, in the middle of the high school roundup. And so anybody who's on the air, please jump in and listen for these kids, not only our school, but other schools all across the country that are participating in the high school roundup. It gives them encouragement, and it's the way that we get new blood in the hobby. It's an important thing.
Yeah. So is the roundup still going a few more days, or is it over?
Till Friday.
Till Friday. People were asking on here, when maybe they would hear you guys on, I guess, during school hours?
It's not just during school hours. Last year we did it mainly during school hours, but we discovered that, because of propagation, it was to our advantage to start later and end later on at least a couple of the days. That was one of our strategies. Should we tell them our strategies?
Well,
it would give other students the excitement of a chance to be in on it. So if you want to, Gary, go right ahead.
unless it's a secret. We don't want to divulge any secrets, but whatever you'd like to share. Now, what bands are you working? Are you limited to a couple bands because of antenna or anything, or are you just everywhere?
Well, if you go to the ARRL website, and they will give you everything that's available, and they suggest frequency ranges for the kids to operate, and they also tell you things not to operate. For instance, you don't want to operate on calling frequencies like 146.52 or 446 or anything like that. So you pick alternate simplex frequencies. We do most of our operating on 20 meters and 40 meters. We've done some on 80. We were on today on 15 meters. That was a total wipeout. We worked a total of 2 stations and then immediately changed over because obviously that didn't work in the middle of the day.
Well, you're not going to win a contest with two contacts.
That's right. Yeah. So we jumped back to 40 that day.
That's right. That's right.
And then there was a pileup.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. When I checked in with you guys, you had steady contacts going there, just one right after the other. So you were doing really well. Yeah.
And we really appreciate you checking in with the group. The kids that got all excited that because they recognized the W5KUB, but not from the radio show. They recognized it because they're very excited about doing a balloon launch.
Oh,
and the
okay.
W5KUB balloon launches we have been following. In fact, at the school they put some of them on the screen in the morning and said, "Here's how
cool.
far it's gone." And I think it was also the one that was launched in Bowling Green.
Yes.
That's cool.
They were following as well. But we want to do that too.
Well, great. Hey, Sherri, let's talk about you a minute. How did you get interested in ham radio, and how long have you been licensed?
I think I've had my license. I know I've had to renew it, so it's been more than 10 years. But I admit I only have my technician's license, which is my great need for Elmering. The local club has an amazing of making new friends in Elmering to help me with the ham radio club. The mentor I had in chemistry as my chemistry teacher, Jim Hicks, WB4CTX. He was a ham, and he started the club at Dixie High School. He was teaching ham radio as a science elect for a half credit at the school while he was working there. So he started this club after the students became interested in 2007. He let them take over, and he used to come in the next day at work and tell me how he was listening to his AP chemistry students talking on the radio, asking each other questions. How do I do this? How do I do that problem? Just chemistry over ham radio. So it was exciting that he was having success with the class as well as the students getting licenses. And so through one of those students, the student's father works for the school board. And when they're looking at the antenna on top of our school building, the district kind of said it's not quite what they want up there. And so they said they needed our coax to be in a conduit, and the school board put it up for us on a 3-story tall science wing. They put the conduit in, and I asked for, forgot the name, Gary, the gray box. I needed to have a hole drilled into the wall so the coax would go into my classroom so I wouldn't have to open a window to connect the antenna. And the school put it in for me. It was amazing how much cooperation Kenton County School Board and school district have given in support of ham radio club at Dixie Heights High School.
Well, that's great. The box, would it have been an LB or something like that, or I don't know what it's called.
Just a regular junction box.
Okay.
But it's important that the support of Sherri. Sherri's at the top of the pyramid, but the principal of the high school is behind it. The school board, the Board of Education folks are behind it. The local ham radio club, NKARC, Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club, is behind it. It's a whole pyramid of support for these kids, and of course the kids are what it's all about. Establishing that kind of support, if you're thinking about doing this with your school, that kind of support is very important. Get involved with the local hams.
So I may have missed this a minute ago, but about how many youth hams do you have in your club now?
Well, there are probably 40 members of the ham radio club, and Greg, WC-ROQI, could tell us more about things like that. But of those, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 of them are very actively involved, and 5 of them that we call the Gang of 5 were actually up on the roof on one cold, windy day putting up those antennas.
Yeah. Okay. Well, very good. I wish we had something like this when I was going to school. Hey, the only club I could join was audio visual. The projector, and it shines up on the wall. I mean, we didn't have ham radio there. Oh man. The kids today are really lucky, and I tell you what, these kids there are really lucky that they've got teachers and the staff there that support this hobby and are really taking care of them, because the ham radio has been a big part of my life since I was 16 years old, and it probably had a lot to do with my ability to work in a lot of jobs and things that I knew and learned and I put to use. So it's a great building block, I think, for kids, and
Tom, I've got a question for the school. Are any of the students involved in any of the digital modes on HF or VHF and or into Morse code? Anybody operating CW during the during your school roundup?
We are not currently. We do C4FM and D-Star and some of the other modes. We have radios that do that, but during the school roundup, we're not using any of those. So there's nobody on FTA and nobody on CW. That's one of our goals to get moving in those areas. So that's a very good question, Bill.
And I would like to add, through meeting the Elmers at the local Northern Kentucky Ham Radio Club, I found out that there's a gentleman who likes to do fox hunting, and so I am looking forward to being able to try and do that. I found out about his enjoyment of the fox hunt right when COVID hit last spring, and so I wasn't able to invite him into the school yet. But hopefully this spring, after vaccines and all, we can try and get some fox hunt ideas going on. And so, as Gary was saying, it's a stuff of the Elmers and the local clubs that were amazing in helping. I don't know how to do most of this, probably any of this myself. And so it's been the Elmers that are amazing on this part. Now, for anyone who might be thinking about having a school club do this, the student who got his general license, I admit I accidentally sent out a reminder message to my classes, and I sent it to chemistry and hadn't intended. It was supposed to go to the Ham Radio Club, and this very quiet, shy student comes to the Ham Radio Club, and he just blossomed and turned into the fabulous, perfect radio announcer voice that he came out of quiet shell, and I loved seeing it grow. And so exciting as a teacher to watch him learn and fall in love with radio to get his license at spring break in April, and then in June, 2 months later, passed his general.
Okay, that's great. Hey, I just wondered. I wonder if any of your club members are watching tonight. If you are a member of the high school roundup club there, well, it's not the high school roundup club. It's the Dixie Heights High School Amateur Radio Club. If you're a member and you're watching tonight, say hello in the chat room. I'd like to see if anybody is there tonight. And they may be there and not say anything in the chat room, but we're so glad to have you guys with us tonight and to talk about this. This is a neat little deal here, and we wish you the best coming up and in the future roundups.
Hey, Tom?
Yeah, go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, let me see. Actually, you know what? Let me see. Looks like I want to fix my. Let me fix my audio real quick, and I'll be right back. So I got something I want to share with you guys.
Okay. All right. All right, and everybody stand by too. In just a few minutes, we'll be giving away an antenna here. Let's see.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
I hear you. Yes.
Yeah. So, well, it's interesting. I'm listening to this story about the radio club at the high school, and it reminds me that's where I got my license. It was due to my electronics elective teacher is a ham still, and I still keep in touch with him. WA2SLK. And he started a ham radio club at the high school, and I think it was just an excuse for him to get to play radio at school. But he got all free child labor to put up antennas and things like that. And we took over the courtyard in the high school. But a couple of years ago, he sent me some pictures, and if you want, I'll share. I just have a couple of pictures, some of me when I was probably 15 years old. So in these pictures. Let me. You got to let me share if you want me. You want to
Okay.
show them.
Okay. Let me turn that on for you.
All right. Okay. Let me know when I'm ready.
There we go. You should be ready.
All right. So let me go and share. Here we go. Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right, which one do you think is me?
Man, gee, this is going to be a tough one right here. You took the picture, I assume.
I did not take the picture. This picture was taken by Charlie, W82SL.
Let me look. Wait, we're going to have a contest here.
I don't know. I'm going to say it's the one playing with the test equipment.
I'm going to say the one with dark hair.
One with the big hair, right?
No, that's my friend Mark.
Okay, I'm going to change my mind in. You're the one on the left there. I'm on the right with the red.
Yeah, the one sitting behind the signal generator with the wireframe glasses and the striped shirt. So that's me.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you had wireframe glasses. I had the big plastic ones.
Yeah, that's my friend Doug on the other side on the left there. That's my friend Doug. He's got those, but I've gone back and forth. That's Charlie. He's the teacher that got us all into this. That's W82SLK. This was our electronics room in the school room. That's the front of the high school there. That's just another shot of our high school lab. It's actually pretty cool. And I remember all that old lab vault equipment.
Oh yeah.
I remember I had a nickname in high school. Like they called me Sparky, and it was all because I was having lunch one day at one of these benches. And somebody came up behind me and kind of slapped me on my back without me realizing it and surprised me. And I knocked over my soda into the power supply.
Oh, no.
Sparking. So they called me Sparky after that. But let's see what else. So this was our radio club. We built a little room in the electronics area for the radio club. Had a little sign there. Had a nice high voltage sign out in the courtyard where we put all the antennas. And we had a quad up on top of a 2x4 pole. This is inside the shack. This is my friend Doug with the CBU key. That's the rig we had there, the FT101. This was a gin pole up on the tower, bringing the beam up.
I was going to say I've never seen a rotor mounted like that before.
Well, I was hoisting it up with the gin pole on top of the tower.
Yeah. Hey, you guys had a lot of equipment there, man. You must have some
we had
good
a flea
sponsors.
market here. We were selling some stuff at the flea market, so that's me with the hat on and the Ohio State shirt. I'm not sure why I had the Ohio State shirt, but that's me.
Wow.
So this is going back to probably 1978, 1979. So just a couple of other pictures. That's up before we put the tower up, we just had the pole up there with guy wires. So let's see, then a couple of QSL cards from our shack, but that was it. I just thought I'd share that.
Well, that's cool, man.
How I got my start, and like I said, certainly ham radio's been, was a career defining kind of path for me, because it kind of got me into electronics. Became a double E, design engineer, test engineer for 25 years before joining Tektronix as an FAE. So it's been kind of a defining path for me right there in high school.
Wow.
And I think it is for everybody. Every ham that got their license back at that age, I think it was a defining moment for all of them, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I have to agree. When I was a little boy, my great uncle, W8UN, he let me listen to the beeps of Sputnik, and that just got me into electronics and the space program. Although my first degree is in chemistry, I did get a double E after that. So chemistry and electrical engineering kind of go hand in hand as well, any of the sciences. But anybody that has been in a radio club where there's people that are Elmers that really try and inspire the kids, that really makes an impression and a life-changing effect on their career path too.
Yeah.
It was that same way for me. We had 3 hams at our school. We didn't have really a club, but we did have a radio area. So that was a lot of fun.
Well, all right. Well, guys, let's move on. And hey, again, I want to thank Sherri, you, and Gary for being with us tonight and talking about this. And I hope that some of your students and club members joined us tonight. And if they didn't, this is recorded, and they can watch it on YouTube anytime. Just go to the channel and pick out the show for tonight. Any last thing you guys want to mention? Websites or anything? URLs? Gary and Sherri?
our local ham radio club has a lot of this stuff on it, a lot of things about the school, and it's K4CO, Kilo 4 Charlie Oscar, K4CO.org. One of the things that we might want to send you for the future that the school board did for us, we talk about cooperation with the school board. They set out their own professional videographer team and interviewed Sherri and showed videos and turned that into a recruiting video for the club.
Oh, that's nice.
So finding that kind of cooperation from a school board is just incredible. And that's a credit to Sherri and the club, NKARC, all working together to help the students. And thank you very much for having us on. Really, thank you.
You guys are welcome. And hey, you're welcome to stick around with us the rest of the show if you want to, and who knows? We may talk about something that you get really interested in here, man.
And thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're really changing the lives of the kids that you've got in the program. That's great.
Yeah, 40 people in a club is amazing.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, look, let's move on. We were talking about an antenna. We're going to give away an LDG antenna here in just a moment. And we're going to do, let's see, tonight we're going to do, let's just do a G5RV dipole. Now, this is an antenna kit. And this has everything in it you need to build this kit. It's got the 120 feet of number 14 wire, 32 foot of ladder line, a center insulator. It's got the end insulators. And it's got the 4-to-1 balance. So we're gonna do a G5RV dipole kit tonight, and hope that somebody wins it. It needs it. It's good for I think up to a couple hundred watts PEP. And again, Dwayne Kincaid from LDG is sponsoring these giveaways, and we're giving away an antenna every week for 8 weeks here. So it's going to be that, and what I need everyone to do here in just a minute is to, again, let me explain. We need you to refresh your chat. We need YouTube only shows us about the last 15 people that have been talking the last couple minutes. So for Hambot to get your name in a big list of people, we need everybody right now just to start saying hello or hi and hit the enter key. You only have to do it once. So everybody just go ahead and enter something into the chat room, and we'll be getting your name here in the participants list. Hambot will pick something in just a minute, and let me show you. Here's Hambot. He's half semi-retired, but here we are. Here's Hambot. All right, so Hambot is getting ready, and Hambot is going to give you guys just maybe another minute or so for the participant list to populate here. And Hambot is, when we come back, Hambot is going to have a name that Hambot has picked. So we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Everybody just stand by with us. Love is on the air at ICOM. The sweetheart of a package with the IC705 is a perfect sidekick for hams that like to enjoy what the great outdoors and indoors have to offer. It's a perfect QRP companion. Base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers in a portable package covering HF 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at just over 2 pounds with RF direct sampling for most of the HF bands and IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz. Some of the features include a 4.3-inch touchscreen with live band scope and waterfall, 5 watts with the BP272 and 10 watts with 13.8 volts. Single sideband CW, AM, FM, as well as full D-Star functionality. Touchscreen display. Integrated GPS with antenna and GPS logger. The speaker microphone comes standard, and it supports QRP, QRPP operations. The perfect accessory for the IC705 is the now available optional backpack, the LC192. It's got a special compartment for the IC705 and room for all your accessories in a day in a park. It's got a lot of accessories, such as the QRP portable magnetic antenna, standard battery pack, lithium-ion battery pack, compact lapel, PTT, Bluetooth and earphone, and much more. And the AH705 antenna tuner is coming soon. Check out our website for free software. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios.
LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need. From QRP to QRO, fixed stations, portable and remote, an LDG tuner will match your radio to your antenna using our lightning-fast, proprietary tuning algorithms. LDG is a family-owned and operated company dedicated to bringing innovative, quality products to the amateur market. All LDG products carry a full 2-year warranty that is fully transferable. Support is only a phone call or email away. We're always here to help you. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com.
All right, now we're back. Okay. All right, I think Hambot is looked at all the names in there, and Hambot's picked somebody. So Hambot, go ahead and let's give us a name, and we'll get it out there. You don't have to claim it because we know that you're here because you entered into the chat room during this period. So this is for an LDG G5RV dipole antenna kit valued at about $100, donated by Dwayne Kincaid of LDG. Let's see, did Hambot, did we announce the name? Let's see. Okay, here we go. The name is coming up. The name is coming up. It's going to be here any second. There's the name. Let's see. Russ. Oh, I know Russ. Let's see if, well, he doesn't have to claim it. Russ is in there, and he hit the enter key a while ago. So Russ is with us. Hey, Russ, congratulations, man. Russ is the new owner now of the G5RV antenna kit. And I'm so glad Russ got this because he was a radio pirate back in the college days, and he got in trouble with the I think he got in trouble with the FCC. He was selling advertisement on his pirate radio station with the mayor. I won't give you any more information about that. Hey, Russ, congratulations, man. All right, very good. All right, hey, let me just make a quick announcement again, guys. Hey, if you're out there listening on international shortwave, we're on WBCQ on 7490 out of Monticello, Maine. And if you're listening to the show is all about ham radio, amateur radio. Drop us an email to tom@w5kub.com. Let us know where in the world you are and how you're hearing the station. We'd love to hear from you. If you're listening to it on a Thursday afternoon. And if you'd like to join the show, our show is live on Tuesday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Just go to YouTube to W5KUB on YouTube, and you can find us. And for you international people out there, it'd be 0200 UTC on Wednesday. 0200 on Wednesday. So you can find us there. Hey, everybody, if you will, real quick for me, hit the subscribe button. We need you to hit the subscribe button. Many of our viewers, probably about 40% of our viewers each night, come to us from YouTube advertising the show. If you've ever noticed when you're looking at YouTube videos, you see little thumbnails down the side. And they're putting us over there, and people see us, and they'll click on it and join the show. So please hit the subscribe button. It really helps us. Hit the like button. As our ratings get higher and higher, they advertise it more and more for us. And the show is really starting to grow after we have branded it as a YouTube channel. It's doing much better now. So that's what I have to say about that. Now, we're going to open the phone lines tonight and just talk about different things. So the subject can be just about anything. Let me get the phone lines open, and we'll just take some phone calls.
Yeah, it's just also checking to see if anybody has any questions in the chat here. It looks like Goldwing 2010 said he sent me one, but I was just scrolling back to see if I could find it, but I couldn't find the question there. So, but yeah, so I know a couple of folks had made some comments on the radios behind me. I recognize the shortwave radios there. Well, this one here is looks like the Yaesu FRG7. It's actually the Sears version of that. And then the one over here is the old Radio Shack Realistic DX160 that I bought in the mid '70s after saving up a whole summer's worth of lawn mowing money.
Oh, so. Man. All right. All right, let's see. We're going to join the chat. We're going to get the phones turned on. Now, guys, we have phone numbers in 65 countries. The phone numbers, hey, Charlie there is a winner of one of our antennas. Charlie is in Uruguay. Okay, here's the deal on phone numbers. If you're in the U.S., the phone number is on the screen right now. If you're international, you need to do this. Go to our website, go to w5kub.com, w5kub.com, and click on Contact at the top. Click on Contact Us. And over on the left side, you'll see the phone numbers, and you'll see a link there to get the international phone numbers for your country. So we'd love to hear from you, Charlie, down in Uruguay, if you can figure out what our phone number is for Uruguay there. So let's see, the phone lines are open. Let's see if we got anybody yet. Don't have anybody yet. We should have some music on here. Let's see. Oh, man. If you don't want to listen to that music, you're going to have to call in. That's for sure. We can take up to 1,000 simultaneous phone calls at the time. So that should keep everybody on the show real busy tonight. All right. I think we've got, well, it says David, but I bet you that's Russ. Who's on the phone? Who's on the phone? Hello?
Hello, Tom.
Hello.
Oh, you didn't know you got me or not.
Is that that's Russ? That's Russ. Your caller ID says you're David, but I knew that was Russ. How you doing, Russ? I mean, hey, congratulations. Congratulations on winning the antenna tonight.
Well, thank you to Hambot and you and your show and I've been trying to contact the schools here and haven't got one yet, but we're still working on that. Just want to let you know I've got a lot of people interested in the balloons, and I've been passing out all kinds of email messages on nets. They're wanting to know more and more about the balloons, so we're keeping them informed here locally.
I tell you, the balloon deal is getting very popular, and as you've heard from Bill, he's got schools flying them all the way from Australia to, I don't know, New York and everywhere. And of course, we've been keeping one in the air pretty much for the past year. So there's a lot of people that have really gotten interested in it.
Well, that's good, and I've got a lot of people here interested in people wanting to know how to build one. I just tell them to go over your website, take a look, and hopefully you're getting a lot more viewers that way too. So before I go, though, Tom at w5kub.com, is that where I can email you? Because I've got a little different address.
Yeah, just, I'm good in QRZ. You can look me up on QRZ, or you can go to w5kub.com and click on Contact Us, and that'll also get you where you can contact us there. Hey,
okay,
hey Russ, where are you?
Sometimes I don't get all my mail here, so I just want to make sure I got the thing. And we've got a couple people kind of interested, and I'd like to see one. I've never seen one. And if I don't want it, I will give it to somebody that is deserving. So thank you very much, and great show tonight.
Well, thanks. Hey, Russ.
Phone lines.
Russ, tell me, where are you now? You must have moved. Did you move to Florida or somewhere?
Florida?
Where are you?
I'm in Iowa.
Well, I thought so, but the last...
Just across... Wisconsin's just to my north, and Illinois just to my south, right on the Mississippi River, in Dubuque.
Okay, all right. I thought you had been traveling or something with someone, and you were calling us from different places from time to time.
Oh, yes. I have been doing that too.
Yeah,
That's just
okay.
to really mess you up. But
Okay, well, that's all right, man.
thanks
Hey,
for
okay.
remembering that Dave shows up on the phone with me.
Yeah,
And, and don't sell ads on the radio, okay?
That's right. Don't sell them, man. Don't sell them to the mayor and let the FCC shut you down, man.
Exactly.
That's right, man.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, man. We'll see you. Good night. Hey, we got another person on the
Charlie
phone.
here.
Who we got? Who's
Charlie.
I'm sorry. Who was that?
Yeah, Charlie here from Europe.
Oh, hey, Charlie, down in Uruguay. How you doing, man?
Very well. Here, I'm looking at the screen here, and of course you are delayed on the screen, so it's difficult for me to watch at the screen and talk to you through the phone.
All right. Well, I guess you found the phone number okay for Uruguay, right?
Yeah, no, I've just called to the U.S. number.
Oh,
I'm calling
okay.
a long distance call. Okay, there's no number for Uruguay, so I
man.
just called on the U.S. number.
We'll have to work on that. Hey, have you got your antenna yet? I know that you're making arrangements to get it through customs and get a broker to get it to you. Do you have your antenna yet?
Well, the antenna didn't get to Miami yet, so maybe it's being shipped from LDG.
Okay.
So it didn't arrive to Miami yet, so I'm not having any problem on that issue yet.
Yeah, and you won. Actually, you won the same antenna we gave out tonight. That was the G5RV dipole.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to get the antenna. It will be very good, and thank you very much for the price. That's really good, and I'm very I really appreciate it.
Well, you're very welcome there, man.
Hey, Charlie, it's good
I
to
have
hear you.
yeah,
know
I have a
that,
question for Alan.
See you on Twitter and see you on here, and glad to hear you finally.
Oh, okay, Alan, hello. Yeah, I have a question, which maybe it's because maybe I'm lazy to really sit and understand it myself. But the question is, I maybe understand that the antenna tuners work like a signal transformer, where you have the one side matches for example, the transmitter impedance. So that the transmitter is happy and can fully transfer the power to the antenna system. But my question is, if on the other side the antenna tuner or transmatch matches the impedance of the antenna system, so that there is the best power transfer from the antenna tuner to the antenna system. That's my question.
So the answer is almost. Okay, you've got it right on one side. On the one side of the tuner, it makes the transmitter see a nice 50 ohm load, so that the SWR is minimum, the return loss is optimized. On the other side, it doesn't match the complex impedance looking into the antenna system. It actually matches with what's called the complex conjugate. The same resistive component, but the opposite sign of the reactive component. And that causes the maximum power transfer through the tuned circuit, minus any losses in the tuned circuit, into the antenna system being the feed line and the antenna. So it does allow that to get the most power transfer into that antenna system. Whether or not all of that gets radiated or not, or lost in the feed line, or usually some combination of the two, is really a function of a number of things, the antenna radiation resistance and things like that. But it's a complex conjugate match on the antenna side that creates that maximum power transfer through the tuner into the antenna system.
And I think Alan will probably confirm this. It's best, I believe, if you put that tuner or that matching device at the antenna. It's not as efficient, I think, if you have it inside there in the shack.
Yeah, because any power reflected back from the antenna because of a mismatch between the antenna and the feed line comes back down to the tuner, then gets reflected back out because of that complex conjugate. So you have power that's traversing the line 3 times in some sense. So any loss in the line gets multiplied by that. But at HF, even with 100 or 200 feet of half decent coax, the losses are generally pretty minimal if the SWR is below like 3 to 1. But and if you get it down below 2 to 1, you're really generally in very, very good shape. I use 450 ohm window line here, going out to my antenna, because at some frequencies that I operate at, the SWR is like 20 or 30 to 1. But because it's very low loss, line, even though I don't have the tuner ideally located at the antenna feed point, the line loss is pretty low and it works really well. But you're right, Tom. Ideally, you'd want to have it at the feed point so that the coax, which is usually the lossiest thing, doesn't see any SWR or any appreciable SWR, no appreciable reflected energy.
So I understand. So if the antenna is resonant at that frequency, but the impedance of the antenna is not 50 ohms, yes, then the impedance on the side of the antenna would match that of the antenna.
Yeah, so that's if the tuner was located right at the antenna. But if you remember, even if the antenna, let's say it was resonant, meaning, remember, resonance means that you just have no reactive component. Well, let's say the resonant impedance was 75 ohms and not 50 ohms. Okay, as soon as you put some coax between the antenna and the transmitter, the impedance isn't going to look like 75 ohms at the input to that coax, except at particular lengths. So it is likely going to have some reactance to it. But by adjusting that complex conjugate, which is what you're doing when you're maximizing power transfer, it doesn't really matter. Okay, the SWR is still the same.
So the problem is in the cable. That's why it's ideal to put the transmatch on the antenna itself.
That's the ideal place. Then you don't have power traversing from up to the antenna, back to the tuner, back to the antenna again. You don't have the loss incurred a couple of times there. You've got essentially ideally no SWR, very low SWR, so very little reflected energy, and then let all the complex impedance transformation happen right there and have minimal interconnect between the tuner and the antenna, and that kind of will maximize your results. Again, for HF, you generally get away with it okay. Once you get up to higher frequencies, upper HF, low VHF, and things like that, that's where it becomes a lot more important.
Yeah, that's great, because I have a little project that is getting an automatic antenna tuner from an old, I think it was a Kenwood TK80 or I don't remember, into a sealed box and make a dipole with the antenna tuner on the antenna itself to go to a field day or something. So that I can take very, very inexpensive and long cable to minimize the loss in the cable by having the antenna tuned at 50 ohms on the antenna port, and minimize the loss on the cable.
Yeah, that's a good way to go. I mean, you're still going to have loss just in the transmission anyway. Okay, if you got an expensive cable, but you'll at least minimize any additional loss due to mismatch, which is called mismatch loss. So you'll at least minimize that. But if you can get that situation where you get an antenna located right, or the tuner or transmatch located at the antenna, that'll help to minimize that. But that sounds like a good way to go, Charlie.
Okay. So that's great. Well, thank you very much, Alan, and hope to talk to you again. I'm really happy to have found and that's because one of your tweets, of course, have found this show, and I'm very nice to join you. Well, every time I can here at the show. So I'm very happy and looking forward to join you all here. I hope every Tuesday, but I don't know. If,
Well, Charlie, we're going to make you a member of the show. You're our Uruguay social media manager, and your job is going to be by next week. You need to find 20 more people in Uruguay to join the show next week.
Oh, well, I think it will be quite difficult, but I've already spoken to the guys. I'm a member on the board of the club here, and we do our meetings by Zoom, on the video conferences.
Yeah.
But I've already talked to them about this show and told them about the idea of making something similar for our audience here. The people that used to go to the club and don't have the way. The club is closed now because of the pandemic. So we have to do some sort of communication with members of the club in some way. So we are getting inspired by this show to try to make something online and stream this way so that people can participate with the club this way. So that's really good.
Okay. Well, hey, Charlie, thank you so much for calling in tonight. I see some more questions in the chat room there. Also, we've got a caller on the phone from New Boston, Minnesota, I think. Let's pick him up real quick. New Boston, are you there?
Yeah, hi, this is David. I'm actually in Michigan. How you guys doing?
Hey, Michigan. I guess MI is Michigan, not Minnesota, right? Yeah.
No, it's probably just as cold. I've been talking to some hams, and it's pretty cold in Minnesota, too.
Yeah. Well, what's going on, man?
Anyway, congratulations to Charlie. He had really good English there. I was very impressed.
Yeah.
But no, I was just calling in because I couldn't get into the chat room. I'm on the iPad, and I used to use it, and it used to work on the chat room, and now the Apple, for some reason, is not doing the chat room.
Well, do you have a Google account of some type, like a Gmail or something?
Yeah, actually, it's my wife's Gmail account.
Yeah, well, it should work.
iPad.
Yeah.
But I did a subscribe, and that seemed to go through. But anyway, so while I was here on hold, I went over on my desktop on my Windows machine and pulled it up, and I do see the chat over there. So
okay,
I guess I'm going to have to use the Windows in the future if I want to go for the prize or whatever. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, maybe you can win next week. You'll have it all straightened out by then.
Okay, we'll try it out. Yeah, I don't see any of my Michigan friends in here, too. Usually there's Bob on here and Jerry on here in the chat room, but maybe they're not on tonight. So
yeah.
But I haven't been on here for a while. I was on, I think, a couple of weeks ago, but prior to that I hadn't been on for a couple of months, but I used to try to get on regularly. So anyway, good show as usual. And miss Katie, though, but other than that, it's a good show. Yeah, well, Katie be back here probably in a couple of weeks. She sent me a note today saying she needed to take a little bit of time off, and she has so much vacation accrued from the show that, we just got to let her to have it, Good for her, good for her. And I'm waiting for Dayton. I hope Dayton will come back to the Hamfest circuit. Man, that's a big loss not to be able to go down there. Yeah, they've already canceled this coming year, right? Exactly. I heard about it a while back. Yeah, so I was looking forward to going down there. I was looking forward to going down there last year. Yeah. I didn't have it, that'll be 2 years. 2 years in a row. Yeah, I haven't been since 2016. I was there the last year of Hera, and that's the last time I've been down there, so that's it. So, all right, guys. Well, you guys have a great night. Thanks for taking my call. All right, Dave. Hey, thanks for calling, man. Thanks. Yep. 7-3 off.
I've got a whole bedroom piled high with stuff to sell and no Hamfest to take it to. Well, you're just going to have to put it on eBay. Okay, guys. 73. I'm now leaving the phone call. Thank you, Charlie.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Charlie. Take care.
Thank you. Hasta luego.
Yes, I did see two questions there, Tom, in the chat. If you want me to grab those?
Yeah, it's about grounding. They were talking about what all the different pieces need to be grounded, and also there's one there about his coax switch. Should he ground his coax switch?
I didn't see those two. I got two others.
Okay.
So let's see. The first one that I saw here was from this user Goldwing 2010. He asks, is 60 dB of isolation in an antenna switch enough to protect an HF rig from another when running 100 watts? Or is it better to simply disconnect one when transmitting? That's from N3HEV, Chris. And the short answer is it likely is okay. Remember, 100 watts translates to plus 50 dBm. So 60 dB of isolation would knock that down to minus 10 dBm, which is 100 microwatts. And HF rigs should be able to take 100 microwatts without a problem, even a milliwatt without too much of a problem. So I think you'd be okay with 60 dB. But it is close that if there was a fault or something in that switch, you might want to just keep that in mind. I use a switch here that's probably one of the alpha deltas, and it's probably 70 to 80 dB of isolation at the high end of the HF band, which is perfectly fine. And I wound up getting like an S8 to S9 reading on my other rig, for example, when I'm using it. So I consider that just fine. And part of that is probably just leakage through the coax. So I think you'll be okay, but just keep in mind that it's on the edge. And if there's ever some kind of a fault, like usually the switches are the unused position is grounded. And if that doesn't become grounded, your isolation will be significantly less than 60 dB, in which case you might get yourself in trouble. But I think as long as you got a good high quality switch and 60 dB or more, you should be okay. So the other question I had here was from Richard Stanley. He said, in DSP, there are notions of math like addition, multiplication, phase differences, etc. But what's the analog of DSP stuff? Like if we're dealing with analog signals. Well, really any kind of analog signal processing that we typically do had done before we had DSP. Things like filters, mixers, summing amplifiers, logarithmic amplifiers, multipliers, things like this. These are all essentially the same functions that we can now implement digitally, and in some cases a lot more effectively, because it's just code instead of additional op amps and diodes and toroids and other RF components and things like that. But at the end of the day, the DSP really kind of grew out of what we used to do, primarily all in analog circuits. So it's all really still there. So Tom, did you have some other questions that?
Yeah, there was one about grounding. Said, I know you're supposed to ground the chassis of the radio, but what else should be grounded? Should the negative of the radio and the power supply be connected to my ground rod?
Oh, so I think it's, if you, what I do typically is I've got a grounding strip. There's a piece of copper, and I used to do it with just a copper pipe bolted to the back of my ham radio desk that I use, that's behind me there in the picture. And I have everything grounded to that, and then I got that grounded. It can just help to avoid ground loop issues or pickup and RF issues and things like that. But it's not super critical. I mean, you want to have certainly the transceiver grounded. Anything beyond that is just going to be a little bit that little bit more of assurance, and might help to avoid some RF issues. But like I said, I don't think it's important for you to make sure I get everything. Oh, I can't reach this one, or I can't get to that, or there's no ground screw on this thing. As long as the rig is well grounded, I think the rest of it is a little bit of gravy. It depends on how much gravy you like, and sometimes gravy helps to solve a little problems.
I think a lot of your things actually have somewhat of ground through the coax. I mean, from antenna tuners to SWR meters, watt meters.
No, just the coaxial connections you've got between the tuner, the switch, and things like that. That's carrying ground to the chassis of your radio, and the radio is grounded. So you're generally already grounded, even though you're not directly connected from that device to ground.
Yeah. All right, guys, the phone lines are open. Here's your chance to call in and give us a call. We've got Glen Popel here with us. We got Bill Brown with us.
We got another question from Bill Bonenberger. What's the best Simpson meter to buy? And they made a bunch of different models. Oh. Well, we talked about the Simpson 260s a couple of months ago, and I do have a video of that. I'm up on my website or my YouTube channel. I like the 260s. The 270s is a bit more accurate. The 260s there were several different series of them. and the Series 2, 3, 4, etc. They're still making the Series 8 as a current model, but I mean, it's over $300, so you probably don't want to buy that. So I think the recommendation that I came to after looking at, and there's Tom's describing his Simpson there, the recommendation that I kind of came to was to look for like a Series 6. And the reason for that is prior to the Series 6, you had to pull the back case apart in order to replace the batteries. Series 6 had a little trap door that you could get off really easily without having to break a screwdriver out. And then also you wanted to be above, what did I say, I think the Series 4 has got the little pin jack type of jacks for the probes, which are harder to find. Yeah. Whereas the Series 5 and 6 have got regular banana jacks, but then the Series 7 went to the reverse bananas, which are harder to find again. So the Series 6 seemed to be the sweet spot if you could find a Series 6. So that was my kind of conclusion on that. I grew up with this meter, not this particular one, but my uncle in a TV shop back in the 60s, early 60s, man, this was the go-to meter back then, man. And it's still a good meter. And Alan, even today, with all the fancy digital meters I've got, sometimes I just like to see the needle move, man. I can tell more what's going on instead of watching the digits, going up and down, Absolutely. In fact, the last video, not the last video I put up, the last one that I put up was actually a recording of a VNA talk that I gave to a conference this weekend. But the prior video to that, I talked about doing some analog signal processing with op amps. So basically being able to take the voltage range you get coming out of a sensor and mapping it to a voltage range that you might want to have going into your microcontroller, for example. Maybe you got to reverse the direction of them and that type of thing. So I worked through that example, and then to show it and to illustrate it, I did exactly that, Tom. I took two Simpson 260s, and I was able to kind of show, okay, here's the sensor going this way, and then here's the output of the conditioning circuit going the other way, and you can just watch them both go. So to me, you get a better feel for things by looking at the meters, and especially if you're doing things that you might be tuning, like maybe doing an alignment on a radio or something like that. It's certainly a whole lot easier to watch a meter go up or down, to me, than to try to watch numbers go back and forth. And even these meters that have, the little segmented bar graphs on them, they don't have the resolution that an analog meter does, and may not react as fast as an analog meter. So I don't know, maybe I'm old school, but I do love having the analog meters around as well. When you want precision, go with the DMN. When you want to really look and understand how things are changing and moving around, go with the analog meter.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll second that because I use my analog meter for transients and quick response times that you just can't find on a digital multimeter. Mm-hmm. Sometimes analog is best. Yep.
Tom, I'm going to shift gears on you, and this is probably one you're going to be able to answer, or we're going to find somebody. And the question that Chad is, do any of the DMR hotspots also have a web server built in for managing the channels and networks?
I've got I'm not a digital guy, but I did buy a DV Mega cast. And that is it looks like a radio. It's got a speaker in the front, a volume control and everything, but it doesn't have an antenna connection on it. And basically, it's, I don't know if it's Arduino or a Pi. It's got something in there. But it will do all the modes from DMR to D-Star to Fusion. Those modes, and yes, there is a GUI interface that you pull up on it, and you can actually tell it, I don't want to do DMR, just show me just a D-Star or whatever, and you can configure it through. So it's got its own little web server built in it that you can access, and of course you also access that to get in to set the Wi-Fi up. If you want to set the Wi-Fi up to your wireless system, it does have an Ethernet connection on the back where you can go Ethernet with it. I'm not real familiar with the little hot spots that these people build. I think most of the little hot spots that they build typically are maybe one mode, you know, like Fusion or what, C4F4 or whatever.
I'm not a
I
DMR
don't know.
person at all.
Yeah, I don't know. And we're trying to get a DMR net started here. Jesse bought a DV Mega cast just like I've got, so he can call the net. And it's a little complicated. He's had it for about a week or so and hadn't got it going yet. I had the same problems with mine because I didn't understand that. I'm kind of old school guy. In the 1960s, you know, we didn't have D-Star or anything like that. We had tubes.
No, you know what I had as my high school transmitter? An old ART-13
Yeah, well,
beast.
I think I've torn several ART-13s apart just to get the parts out of them. Man, it has some good parts in it. Yeah. Hey, real quick, let's jump over it with Bill there for a minute, and let's just talk a little about the balloons for a second. Let you guys know that you know, our last attempt to go around the world, we were doing so good that you know, we finally hit the jet stream. We were just about to get to Morocco, and then we didn't hear from it the next day. So I don't know what happened. Everything was looking good. Everything was looking real good, and who knows what the problem really was. Now, Bill, there was some, I don't know if you saw or not, and it probably didn't affect us. NOAA put out a warning on February 6th that there was a major dust storm from the desert there, and a lot of dust was going into Europe and out, but they mentioned the altitude on that dust storm was like 20,000 feet. We were flying higher, but I would imagine some dust probably went higher. You know?
That dust can go higher,
Yeah.
and we were just discussing that on one of the ballooning lists about the effects of dust on the Pico balloons and their long duration, and I would think that might have had an effect, or the turbulence that was involved with that.
Yeah.
That's one of the big killers of these would be turbulence.
So this is the NOAA. Yeah,
that's right in the area
Yeah.
where you were flying, right in the worst of all that.
Yeah, well, so we were right here in this area coming into Africa right here, and you can see this is from NOAA here. This is the Large Saharan Dust Cloud. And unfortunately, like I've told everybody before, in flying the Pico balloons, man, you know, I don't care, you know, there's two things, the most important things is you got to be lucky and you got to have Mother Nature cooperate. That's the two things that I don't have any control over. So I don't know.
And in your case, you've got to be persistent.
Yeah, and we've been really persistent. And I want to tell you something, you know, I think with the data we're collecting, it shows a correlation between the inexpensive balloons and the expensive balloons that we're flying. You know, we're flying the expensive balloons to try to get above the storms. Of course, wintertime, we don't have those storms. So, I don't know, my data, I've flown both, Bill, but we've flown mostly the SBS balloons, but my data shows me that it's kind of like a crapshoot. I don't care which one you use. I mean, we've got those 36-inch inexpensive balloons right now doing a 9th revolution around the Earth right now.
Another thing that could have happened with that dust storm is it could have just covered up your solar panels so that it doesn't have enough voltage to operate. So maybe it's still alive and it just will take a while for the dust to come off of it.
Well, you know, that one was kind of destined to have problems when it took off. I don't know how closely you followed it, Bill, but when it took off, one of the solar panels was pointing down. It was pointing down. I got a picture here of the approximate position, and that's just about the position it took off. So we had one cell aimed down, and we had one cell aimed to the horizon. Now, we don't know if it was pointing at the sun or not. I would assume it's moving around, and with the supercapacitors, I tell you, with this configuration on the previous flight, we were seeing wake up levels near 0 or 1 degree, and we were seeing it turn off at sunset at 0 degrees. But this one we launched with the same configuration with it messed up. I was seeing like 2 degrees wake up and I don't know, 4 degrees going to sleep. So I don't know if the panels were still messed up or what, but that also told me that one cell vertically might do pretty good, even if it's not aimed at the sun. If it's moving around, it might be getting enough sun that it might do okay.
Well, it could have shifted if you said it, as you said, it was tangled up, and maybe it, shifted back. Because if you do hit some turbulence, then you're going to get some definitely some issues with the flight train, and that might have broken off one of the antenna wires. So maybe if it gets in line of sight range of some ground stations, it might show up again. So it was
Bill,
kind of strange because the only weather I saw was that dust storm. I didn't see any particular bad thunderstorms. So,
Bill, one of the things I've changed on all our flights, and most people don't do this, but on an antenna you got 2 halves. You got and probably they should be very similar with the way they radiate. A dipole, the way a dipole radiates, you need both sides. But one of the legs is actually hooked to ground on the board, and the other leg is the RF output. And on all of our flights, I've been moving the RF output up through the string to the balloon, so it doesn't swing in the bottom and break off. Now, I don't know if that one antenna stayed on would work better if I, lost the bottom half than it would if the antenna was switched around. You know what I'm talking about? If we broke the bottom off.
What did you do different from past flights in the orientation?
As far as the antenna?
Yeah.
Well, no, nearly all our flights, we have moved the antenna, the RF output, up the string that goes to the balloon. Most people, in the design of the tracker we're building, most people let that RF output hang down below, and they run the ground side up. But we've reversed that. We've reversed that just in case that bottom, when it's swinging around a lot, breaks, because there's no string or anything holding it. I don't know if that would help it or not. It might. I don't know.
Well,
you're still missing.
I've been flying them mostly with the active feed going down, but I also have fishing line supporting it. By the way, I have a trivia question for Alan.
Trivia, okay.
I got this at a Hamfest a while back, and I actually haven't played with it yet. But see if you could tell me what brand this is and what model.
Well, it's a little blurry.
That looks like a triplet 630.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Dang, he's good.
Yeah.
You got lucky.
That's very impressive. You can't get a knob like that, a dial like that, a selector.
No,
they just don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah, I don't have a 630. The only triplets I have are the little 310s. You've seen those before,
triplet,
right?
triplet.
I've got 2 of those.
Yeah,
but,
I've never had one of the
actually
630s, but I recognize it.
The little ones are my very first. Those were my very first multimeter. My first voltmeters were the little triplets.
I've got a little
this
triplet.
At the Hamfest, I had to have it. It's in beautiful shape.
There's a little triplet. That knob kind of something. I don't know.
Well.
Fancy digital ones.
Yeah.
Well, you've got me having to get me an analog meter now.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll make you a deal on this one.
So let's see. Where are all of our callers? Any more callers out there? We're looking for people to call in to the show. The music is playing. I guess if I crank this up. We don't want to listen to that. Give us a call.
Hey, I don't know. I was at the dentist office the other day, and they're sitting there playing Bee Gees and the 80s disco music as their dentist office music these days. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, I don't know. I think it's okay.
Does it mean you're getting old when the music you used to listen to as a kid is now the music in the elevator? Is that what
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we used to rock out to that stuff, and now they do fillings with it.
Yeah. Well, Bill, we launched our replacement. We've been very consistent in launching balloons. We've gone one right after the other for the past year and a half, man. And but this weather front has moved in, and we didn't have a good window to launch, so it's probably going to be a couple weeks. This next one we launch, I think, Bill, we're going to use a 3-foot balloon and just try it out and just compare it with the big balloon on this next flight. And while it's flying, Bill, we have the material here, and we're going to make an experimental balloon. I know we don't have the best material. I'd prefer something a little better, but Fluffy out there, Fluffy that sells this material, liked what we were doing so much. Fluffy came on board with us as a sponsor, basically, and sent me a ton of material here. So I've got sheets of this film that's 30, 40 feet long. And what we're going to do, we're going to fold it back in half. It's 44 inches wide, I think. So we'll take, say, a 30-foot long piece. We'll fold it back, and we'll heat seal it all the way down both sides. And we'll make us a 15-foot balloon. Now, here's where I'm going to need your expertise, Bill. We're going to have a lot more volume. I'll try to get the dimensions there. We can calculate the volume, but we know what the SBS flies. The SBS is going to be less than half the volume of the new experimental balloon. So if I can get a balloon built that's more than twice the volume, Bill, what kind of altitude can I get?
You probably get up around 55,000 feet.
All right, so that's where I'm wanting to go, man. That's my goal, 55. Now, here's the interesting part of it. I think I can get this balloon to fly at 55,000, but I don't know how long it will fly at 55,000. That's a
great area to fly.
Yeah.
You're above almost 100% of the weather.
Yeah.
The higher you go towards the tropopause, the better. And the tropopause, if you get into the stratosphere, then you're golden, and it'll stay up there a very long time, because then you don't have any of the environmental factors that we have to deal with when you're flying at lower altitudes. The drawback is that your wind speeds are going to be lower, so it'll take you longer to go around the world. But we just had 2 launched by a school, I believe in Pennsylvania, Seton Prep School, I think it was called, KD2VGT-1 and -2. And they launched 2 APRS trackers on 2 SBS, well, each individual SBS-13 balloons.
Standby
and
call.
Their student went around the world just 2 days ago, and those 2 balloons were still within 200 miles of each other.
Man.
And tracking right next in formation. When they were over Japan a few days ago, they were only 100 miles apart. And now they're 1,000 feet difference in altitude, but one of them is out in front because it's a little lower and it's in a little higher wind speed because it's closer to the actual center of the jet stream. It's still on the upper part of the jet stream. They're flying at 42,000 and 43,000 feet.
Hey, I like doing things like it. I'm gonna fly 2 balloons here pretty soon, and I guarantee you, I'm gonna keep them 100 foot apart all the way around. My secret
Well,
is.
I was just amazed how closely these are tracking. They were heard yesterday over the Canary Islands, one on the east side of the Canaries and one on the west side. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to use thread. I'm going to get me a spool of thread, and I'm going to tie them together. Where they'll kind of stay together. Hey, we got a caller. Dayton, Ohio. Who's the caller? Let me turn them up here. Who's the caller? Caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, this is Cliff from Dayton, Ohio.
Hey, Cliff. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Happy birthday to you.
Well, it's not until Friday, but just you got plenty of time to send the money, man. You know. I'd rather have.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. Hey, man. What's going on up in Dayton?
Well, it's we're looking at that weather pattern that what you've got right now. The weather pattern, I guess there's some ice and stuff coming that
Yep.
might be heading in this direction too, because looks like when I saw the weather map that you had on Facebook, it looked like it was heading towards southern Ohio there, close to the tip of Ohio. So it might be heading up towards the north, maybe up our way, maybe within a day or two after it hits your area.
Well, here it is. I brought it back up on the screen here, guys. This is from the National Weather Service, Friday morning in Memphis, and this is ice. This is not snow or anything. If you look where the cursor is, that's where Memphis is. We are right in the darkest part, and they're saying we're going to get 1 inch of ice. And
You and me both.
I don't know, man. I know what I'm doing in the morning. I'm going to fill all my gas cans up. That's what I'm doing. So you may get that. You may get that up in Ohio. It may shift up that way a little bit.
Yeah. You know, a couple years ago, I participated in that school roundup thing, and I got a card from North Carolina, a school in North Carolina, and it was a nice card and everything, and I sent them one too, and stuff. And then that contest is a nice roundup thing. It was pretty neat. You know, I've been a ham for 47 years. I first got licensed when I was a junior in high school, and I was a novice for a while, and then got my tech, and now I got my general, and everything like that. But this month it was 47 years. So.
Well, you're a youngin'. Hey, you're a young kid, man. If you've only had your license 47 years.
Yeah. My gosh.
Yeah, 1974.
Oh man.
Actually, I was 73.
But anyway.
So.
Oh man, I go back a million years ago. I go back to 1964.
Yeah, dirt was new and improved back then,
Boy,
right?
that was just about when the Beatles were gonna get, you know, I guess, man.
I'm in 1973 too.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I got mine the 2 days after they landed on the moon on Apollo 11.
Oh,
Oh,
very
man.
cool. Hey, Sherri and Gary, quick question. You guys, have you shown your kids FT8 and FT4 yet, or you pretty much just sideband and or CW?
Right now, we have not done FT8 and FT4, and that is definitely on our horizon.
I saw someone posted that the ARL was not allowing FT8 for the roundup. I guess they just didn't want them to. I guess they wanted them to do more hands-on operation or something. I don't know if that's true or not, but I saw that earlier.
Okay,
Well, that makes
one more
sense,
question, then I'm going to get off of here.
Yeah.
The school there, Dixie School, well, how close are you to Cincinnati? How
About
close
10
are you to
miles.
Cincinnati,
About 10 miles
the
south.
Dixie School?
We're about
I didn't
10
copy
miles
that.
south.
Well, y'all are talking at the same time. At 10 miles, he said 10 miles apart.
Yeah, actually, we are
okay.
closer to the greater Cincinnati airport than Cincinnati is.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'm here in Dayton, Ohio, and everything like that, so.
All right. Hey, man, thanks for calling. And
All right, talk with you later.
take
Happy
care.
birthday.
Take care up there. Take care.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, boy, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. While we
I got a
drove.
good story about an ice storm.
All right, let's hear your story about the ice storm, and then I've got one about Cincinnati. Go ahead.
Well, I grew up in Findlay, Ohio, and we would get all manner of storms, but we got this terrific ice storm once. And I had a 3-element cubicle quad with the fiberglass supports. It was 20, 15, and 10. And that thing was the best antenna I have ever had. It's really, really phenomenal. And it was massive, as you might guess. But it was my project to put it on the tower and get it up there. Well, the ice storm hit, and all the elements, the fiberglass poles, are all bowed in like this, covered in ice. And so I decided to shake the ice off by rotating the antenna and jerking it back and forth a couple of times. I figured the ice would fall off. What happened instead, can you guess what happened?
I don't know unless it got all tangled up. I have no idea, man.
The fiberglass poles all broke.
Did they all break? Oh, man. Yeah.
And so I ended up with this big mass of copper wires and a big ball at the top of my antenna, which did not function as a quad antenna anymore. It was a mess.
All right. Here's
I fixed it.
Hey, what?
I fixed it. I bought new fiberglass poles and new copper wire, and I rebuilt that whole thing, and it worked great for 6 months. And then a tornado came through and clipped the side of our house and took out my quad. And it was now again a big ball of bits of fiberglass and copper wire, all compacted into a little ball in the front yard.
All right. Hey, I want to say hello to Jeff, HL2 stroke W5ABQ in South Korea. I chatted with him the other day on Facebook. I also held a HL9 KT call. That was my call in Korea in 1972 for the entire year. And he's over there in Korea right now. Hey, Jeff, we're trying to fly a balloon over you. Typically, we just about go over South Korea with the balloons if we're lucky. And it's so cool, man. I would have never expected, that's 50 years ago, man. 50 years ago when I was standing on that soil in Korea to look up and down and think, someday I'll be flying a balloon over this place, man. Back then we didn't have tracking, we didn't have whisper, we didn't have anything like that, man. Oh, wow.
No, we had RIDI and CW and fax and slow scan.
Yeah. All right, a quick story. It's kind of technical, it's not ham radio, but since we brought up Cincinnati a while ago, here's my Cincinnati story. We've been going to Hamvention for the last 39 years. Hadn't missed a year except 2, and that's the last 2 here. But we were, Xenia is kind of off to the east of Dayton, so, there should be a shortcut right to Xenia. So anyway, we're getting into Cincinnati, and we're talking to somebody on the radio. He's watching us drive because he's watching the webcam as we're driving, and he knows we're in Cincinnati. And he says, "Okay, man, I'll show you a shortcut. I'm a local. I go this all the time. I'll show you a shortcut. It'll cut 30 minutes off your trip, man, to Xenia. Take exit, I don't know, I'm going to number 22 or Highway 22 or something like that." Anyway, so my driver was Tommy. Now, Tommy's Puerto Rican, okay? And I don't know if he didn't quite get the 22, but he took the 2, okay? So anyway, he takes the 2, and we're getting down into Cincinnati there, and we're going in circles, and the GPS is going crazy. It's just going crazy, man. And we're trying to find a way out of there, And it's just not wanting to take us anywhere. And the GPS finally takes us around in a circle, and it pulls us up into the parking lot. And the GPS basically says, "This is it, man. I can't take you any further.
Car now.
I can't take you any further." And so we spent about an hour in Cincinnati, found our way back out to the main road, and then on in the normal way. That's my Cincinnati story. And this guy, he says, "Oh, it's simple. I drive it every day." Well, we didn't drive it every day, so it wasn't so simple for us, All right. Hey, just real quick, if you're listening out there on international shortwave on WBCQ 7490, this is a wild and crazy show about ham radio and other things. Ham radio is amateur radio, so that's what we've been talking about. If you're listening out there on shortwave, you're listening on Thursday, send us a note to Tom at W5KUB.com. Let us know where you are and how you're hearing the station. We'd love to hear from you. You can join our show on Tuesday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern if you just go to YouTube and go to W5KUB. Let me ask everybody again real quick, if you will do this for us, hit the subscribe button. I need everybody out there, please hit the subscribe button. We need your subscriptions here. It helps our rating to so we can advertise, so YouTube can advertise our show. So please hit the subscribe and hit the like button. If anybody said anything you liked tonight, hit the like button. And I'm looking at the stats here. It looks like we had 1,339 people come in and leave tonight. So that's a pretty good number, 1,339. And I don't know what our concurrent number was, but I think our concurrent number through most of the show was running close to 200, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, but our numbers are looking good. Thanks. We want to thank everybody out there for hanging in there with us. Next week we'll give away another antenna, and we'll probably just start giving away some prizes each week on the show. Let's see, what were we talking about? Oh, hey, Bill, back to Bill real quick. Balloon, 50. I think I can do 55,000. All right, but I don't want it to burst. You're gonna have to help me with the calculations. I can get you the volume and the weight, and let's see if we can get enough gas in it.
I would use the white material.
I can't. I don't have the white. You're gonna have the white, so we're gonna be fighting solar heat. Now you got to put that into the.
Oh, you don't have the. I thought you said you had some white material.
Well, I didn't get enough white to make a big balloon. Just only a small balloon. So here's the deal for the big balloons. I can make a 40-foot red one, or I can make a gold one. Okay.
Gold. It has to be gold.
You say gold? Is gold better than red?
Yeah.
Now, gold absorbs two colors, blue and green, I think, whereas red only absorbs one color, the red. So, is gold actually better?
We've done flight tests with both colors, and the gold does heat up quite a bit.
Okay.
But the red heats up more.
Okay. All right. So hey, I think the gold would look good. It kind of give it that NASA touch, when they fly those, like the lander, the moon lander, the moon lander and stuff, and they got it wrapped with that gold stuff, and you see it kind of flopping.
Yeah.
I think our gold, we'll probably build it out of gold. So, and Bill, I'm worried about the seams. We'll heat seal it, but I'm thinking a 2-inch. I'm thinking a 2-inch seam all the way down, man. I don't like this little 1/2-inch seam down it. I mean, I want.
It'll add weight, but
well,
a 1/2-inch is usually pretty good.
Well, if I'm just afraid. You start tearing that apart with that pressure in there. A 1/2-inch may go where maybe an 1.5 or 2-inch seam might hold better,
Well, you could do 2 seams right next to each other with the heat sealer that I've got, or you can use that little hobby iron that they use to put on the monocoat on model airplanes. So I have both of those that I use.
Yeah. Well, my sealer is like a little iron with a handle on the end of it, a little like a wooden handle. It's kind of like small shaped little iron. It's got a little adjustment on top. And it does pretty good. But I'm going to run a good seam down it, and we will. My concern is this. My concern is reaching that super pressure. I want to get enough gas in it to get it high up to float, but the heat is also going to take it up, and I'm afraid at nighttime when it cools, we may not have enough gas to keep it in the air. So I got to somehow keep it.
We'll have to work out the free lift so that you don't exceed.
I got to keep it in the air. Yeah, that's the one I've got. I've got that one right there, the very same one.
Yeah, I think we'll have to look at the heat setting, but you probably want to be around 4.
I mean, I run mine nearly all the way up. I run it about, I don't know,
4.5 probably.
Yeah, that's probably about where I have it. Yeah. So yeah, I gotta have enough gas to keep it up during the night, and gotta have not too much that it's gonna explode because of the heat. So we got that balance
during the daytime. Yeah.
That what?
Yeah, that's you want to look at the. We'll have to look at just what the range of free lift that you could tolerate on a bigger balloon like that.
So on the SBS we're running maybe 7 or 8 grams. Would you think a balloon double that size would it typically be more free lift, or would you still fly it at about the same 7 or 8 grams?
I'd probably start out about the same.
Yeah.
Now there's some very inexpensive Chinese balloons that are about 36 inches. They're clear, and Dave VE3KCL has been flying those successfully, and they've been up for months.
Yeah.
And a fellow in Texas, AB5SS, John, he just flew 2 of them, and he hit some weather. He's only flying at about 35,000 feet, and he hit some weather over Tunisia and started that downward trend like a roller coaster, and that rarely comes out of that.
Yeah,
he was collecting moisture and ice, but he survived because he put like 6 grams of free lift in it for just a small little balloon, and that's the beauty of those particular material. In fact, Bill, that's the balloon we were going to fly this week. I think I've got 6 of those, so I'm thinking about flying just a single. That'd be the one I would try next.
I'm thinking flying just a single and not 2 together. So, hey, my friend Tommy is in the chat room. He is my Puerto Rican friend, and he says, listen to this. He says, hey, this is Tommy. That's not how the Cincinnati story really went down, but I guess I will need to defend my side of the story another day. Well, I can tell you, Tommy, listen, we were supposed to take Road 22, and you took like Road 2. Now you gotta agree with me. That happened, right, Tommy? In the chat room, let me know.
And after that, calling the number, but it disconnected.
After that, it went all downhill, man. It went all downhill. Plus, never have somebody watching you drive tell you where to turn. We found out years ago when we were in Huntsville. We were, after the Hamfest one night, we were going to the movie there in Huntsville. We're streaming a drive in the dark, and we're saying, okay, man, where's the movie at? And the guy said, okay, you're coming up the next exit. Take the next exit. That's where the movie house is. Well, he don't know it, but the stream is 30 seconds delayed. So we're taking the wrong exits and all that stuff. So hey, follow the GPS, stay on the main road. Let's see.
I don't know. My GPS sent me into the middle of a cornfield once.
Hey, I think Tommy may call in the show here. Let's see. Let's see what he says. He says, I tried calling, but the number disconnected. Tommy, call us. 712-775-7270. And there's the code that's on the screen. I want to get him on here. I'm going to interrogate him. You guys
only got 5 minutes left.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes left before we have to sign off tonight. Tommy, hurry up, Tommy.
I don't think this story can be told in 5 minutes.
Probably not. I tell you what, we've had some funny stories over the years going to Hamvention. Funny stories, man.
Yeah, I got into an argument with my GPS on the back roads to Xenia. Second trip.
Yeah, let me see. Okay, Bill just gave him the number. Let's see if I can give him the code here. The code is 407 051 051 and then a pound sign. Tommy, call in, Tommy. I can't believe anybody here locally is watching the show. I can go to Memphis Field Day here in Memphis. 9 people out of 10 have never heard of the show, but we have people watching it all around the world. All right, come on, Tommy. I think, yeah, I see what's happening. I see what's happening. It's not a phone number problem. Tommy just don't want to connect by phone. That's what it is. He just don't want to connect by phone because he knows we will just, you know.
Oh, no, not with 4 minutes. We
Cue
can't
a
do a
story
whole
up.
lot to him in 4 minutes.
Hey, while we're talking stories, man. Hey, I got a story in Dayton, Ohio, probably 30 years ago. A guy came in our room with a gun. Yeah, came in our room with a gun. It was supposed to be his room, he said. And I said, no, it's my room. Here's my key. He said, no, it's my room. And he had his girlfriend with him. And he said, man, he said, you know, this is my room. I said, no, it's my room. Well, I didn't know it, but my buddies went and sat down and got real quiet in the back of the room. I didn't know the guy had a pistol on him. But anyway, he calls the manager, and the manager says, you got to get out of there. And he says, man, he looks out the window and says, there's cops everywhere. I can't go out. And the manager says, you got to leave. And he says, cops everywhere. I can't go out. So anyway, the manager gets him another room, and the guy's really nice. His name was Fast Eddie, and Fast Eddie told me, he says, man, he says, you guys have been so good to us. Manager's getting us another room. He said, you want to come down to our room and break it up, or, you know, can I get you any women? Or, I mean, you know, that was an interesting night there. I'll tell you, man. Okay.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I think Tommy, you there?
I'm here.
Now here. Okay, guys, meet Tommy. This is one of my tech guys that is a big part of our show. He's been with us at Dayton a bunch of times, and we trusted him to drive through Cincinnati.
Yeah,
and he takes road 2. He takes road 2 instead of 22. Or was it 22 instead of 2? Oh, go ahead and tell your story. Tell your story, Tommy.
That's what happened when you decide to trust a unknown ham radio operator or the radio in the last second. So you were on the back of the truck, and you decided to go for it. I have like 3 seconds to decide. I asked Freddie, which is the co-pilot, should I take this one or the next one? He said, go for this one.
Okay, so we're going to blame it on Freddie now. We're going to blame it on Freddie. Now, hey, guys, look, let me set the story right. Tommy is Puerto Rican. Freddie is telling him where to turn. Freddie is from Venezuela. Okay? That's what we're dealing with here. All right. So, Tommy, we make the turn, and then what happens, Tommy? Where do we end up?
The GPS tell us to go around, and we end up in a parking, and we decided to try again because we couldn't believe it. We try again, go around downtown Cincinnati, and we end up in that same parking. That was the end of the world.
That's right, the end of the world. The GPS took us to the parking and said, this is as far as I'm taking you guys. Oh, man. We're going to have to get Freddie on the phone. We're going to have to get Freddie. It looks like to me you just passed the blame to Freddie. Yeah.
Yeah, but we all know who to blame, really. Who is the owner of the truck?
Hey.
Trusting a no ham radio operator.
The owner of the truck was sleeping probably in the back seat. Yeah. Well, we have to get Freddie on here next time and let him, clarify for us, okay?
Yeah, we need to take out Freddie's side of the story too.
All right. Hey, Tommy. Yeah, Tommy, stand by just a minute. Hey, guys, it's about the end of the show for Shortwave. Our time's run out. You've been listening to Amateur Radio Roundtable, a show about ham radio. Shoot us an email, tom@w5kub.com. I'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you on 7490 International Shortwave next Thursday, same time, 5:30 p.m. Central Time. Good night to everybody out there. All right.
All right, I'm gonna sign off, gentlemen.
Okay. It's late for you. It's late.
Yeah,
for you.
late for me, and back up to work tomorrow. So.
All right.
Good to see everybody tonight.
Good to see you.
And we'll see you next week.
All right. Good night.
Bye, Alan.
All right. Good to see everybody tonight.
Thank you so much for having Sherri and I on the show.
We've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to drop this